Right, maybe I'll just do a quick introduction of myself. I'm going to touch on these few subjects today: digital transformation, innovation, and a little bit of innovation and sustainability. Right, again, a quick introduction of my organization and who I represent today, Boustead Projects. We are a builder and contractor in Singapore. We are also a real estate developer in the industrial space. So today we own across Singapore 24 properties. We do construction, development, planning, design, and project management. And I represent this group technology office, part of Boustead Projects Singapore. It consists of our building information model or integrated digital delivery team. We have our IT as part of the support and also innovation. So you guys clearly see there's something different here, because most times when we talk about building information model, we are just talking about a group of people consists of a modeler, but we managed to integrate these three key departments or business unit, I would say, which include innovation. And this is very key because we are talking about a change of mindset and a culture of innovation within the organization. And the value of innovation does not reside just within this group technology office, but we are the driver of innovation within the organization. Right, these are our focus and drivers. So obviously, you know, you have technology, process, and people, and we talk about whole life carbon, energy efficiency, increase of productivity, health, well-being, intelligence, resilience, operability, maintainability. This is part of our core business and part of the group technology driver within Boustead Project Singapore. Right, as part of our innovation framework, we are talking about strong understanding of challenge. And this is very important because we want to use technology to address challenge and problem statement within the organization and part of the larger built environment industry in Singapore. Again, using a user-centric approach, making sure we understand what are the needs of the user. Gone are the days within the industry, even in Singapore context, where technology vendors come over to us and say, use this technology, use that technology. Where right now we are taking a new user-centric approach, understanding what are the key challenges by the user, and then we try to meet some of these needs. And then we have an outcome-driven solution, tangible improvement from the current state. And currently, this is what we work on as part of the smart construction. I'll share a little bit more on how we do it on-site and off-site. So we have building information model or digital construction, immersive reality, the use of virtual reality headset to get design approval, construction management software such as a cloud platform that allows us to collaborate, coordinate across the different stakeholders within the organization, both internally and externally for some of our clients. And potential initiative, we are looking at 5G connectivity, analytics, construction analytics, and robotics, or automation in this case. So 5G connectivity is very important. Today, while we are talking about digital platforms, the use of mobile application on-site is getting enhanced, and we need to improve in terms of the user experience. That's where we feel that 5G connectivity can help to improve and enhance the user experience, because downloading and uploading of files, downloading and uploading of data, sharing of data across different stakeholders and across different timelines is very important. Smart building, I mentioned just now, we are also a developer, a real estate developer in the industrial space. Today, we have embarked on working with a third-party, a tech vendor, a partner, to create, or what I would call co-develop, a smart building application, which consists of facial recognition, access control, which allows us to manage our facilities management across the different portfolios of buildings that we own. And potential initiative, again, analytics, the use of analytics and wireless workspace for us to work, and again, to improve our tenants and the user within the building that we own itself. Big words here for us, unified data platform. In fact, we have been collecting data for the past 5 to 6 years. We started off our transformation journey or digital transformation journey since 2016, and we have been collecting data ever since, but I think the challenge here is we did not optimize and harness the true potential of data. So what we did today, we have embarked on a single unified data platform where we extract various data from various data lakes. For example, some of the cloud platform that we are using for safety, quality, and also design into a single platform. What I'm showing you guys is more focused on the real estate because this is where we own a number of buildings and we want to find out what are the faults within the building and how we use this for reporting. Right? So this is very important because we are looking at analytics and predictive maintenance for some of the buildings that we own. Right? So 3 key approach here: championing innovation, digitalizing the process, and obviously sustainable digitalization. And why is it important? If you look at where we come from in our journey to a digital transformation, we are looking at small, little steps to digitalizing and streamlining most of the process from a conventional or traditional to a new way of working. Right, so what we have done since our transformation journey 2016, we have used building information model to coordinate and collaborate across the different stakeholders, the use of drone to collect point cloud files and images that allows us to manage the construction project effectively, remote collaboration, artificial intelligence verification. I'll touch a bit on that, how we use that. It was way back in one of our projects. A common data environment or connected data environment. This is very important. Immersive reality, time-lapse recording, 360 site progress. Currently, we are looking at a common asset data dashboard, centralized BIM library, digital operation and maintenance, where we will use this to hand over to our client for a seamless transition into their facilities or operations of maintenance of their building, and obviously BIM for facilities management. Future ambition, we are thinking a little bit ahead, crystal balling things. Again, robotics, automation, machine learning, clean energy, digital twin, analytics using data, and 5G connectivity. Right. I mentioned just now why we want to have a data-driven culture in the organization due to, like what I mentioned, part of our innovation process. So if you see the why, we have been collecting data, and the how. Most of this data now needs to be used for reporting. Gone are the days where some of our project managers, or in fact, when they need to do reporting, they are using a manual process of extracting images and manually keying into PowerPoint or Words document. We are using platforms to use the data to do for reporting, and this helps us. And the what is we are able to do descriptive analytics, predictive, and also prescriptive analytics to identify action which can influence future outcome or the outcome for us. In Singapore, we embark on this program called Queen Bee program. We are one of the first in Singapore built environment industry. And this Queen Bee program was to work together with small, medium enterprise company. And as part of this program, we identify skills gap within our ecosystem partners, and we work hand in hand with them, curate a set of customized or bespoke program with Institute of Higher Learning and get them on board. So we did this for about a year, and we have stopped because most of our program and our ecosystem partner right now are able to do it independently. So again, there's an open innovation platform which we also collaborate. We work with a lot of startups. In this case, these are Singaporean startups like Esquire. where they use AI to verify what's the different discrepancy between what was built versus what was designed for. So again, we champion innovation by working with partners and collaborate. 3D scan, this is one of our early initiatives. We use 3D scan to validate as-built information. Now, in Singapore context, I'm not sure about here in Australia or Melbourne, but our 2D as-built drawing is never accurate, and a lot of times, it's just a matter of documentation. So we found that by going through that whole conventional, traditional process, we are not able to have an accurate information for us to hand over. So what we did was we used a 3D scan and collect point cloud files and progressively update the building information model to be as accurate as possible what was designed or what was installed and constructed on site. So this has been helpful. Again, better or less rework on site, trying to identify and compare two sets of data, which is the BIM model or digital model versus the point cloud files, right? So we have been doing that. 360 camera, this is very interesting, and this took place in 2021, I think late 2020, no, COVID was, I think late 2020, right after COVID. And what happened was there was a request from a customer, a client of ours, while we are building that project, and there was a total lockdown on site. So people are not able to access site except for very few key personnel, such as the safety engineers and inspectors, and our quality guys, or QA/QC. And they put a challenge to me and the company and say, how do we then visit the site without the need for us to go to the site or without the need for them to go to site? And we embarked on working with a startup, and we have deployed 360 camera photogrammetry. With that, we are able to share with them and compare between different timeline or time capsule for them to see the progress on site, i.e. Weekly, daily, or even monthly. So once we have collected all these 360 photo, links are being shared to our client, and they are able to view the progress on site without the need for them to go down on site. And we continue to scale this activity. In fact, we work with a government agency, JTC, one of the biggest industrial landlord in Singapore, where we implement a VR TOP. TOP in Singapore context is temporary occupation permit, where you need to get that permit to start using the building, right? So prior to that, you need to have an inspection with the regulatory bodies such as BCA. So what we did was we used a virtual with the aid of a 360 camera, and this whole inspection process was done virtually online without the need for having a lot of people on site. And traditionally or conventionally, what we do is we have a group of 20 to 10 people walking the site, validating, measuring, but now we use 360 photo and have this whole inspection process done online, and we have successfully completed that. It was one of the case study that we did with JTC and BCA, and now I think we are talking about scaling this up at not only project level but industry level, where hopefully most of the industry players will start using this. VR for visualization, if you look here in the pictures, in fact, this VR is not just for marketing purpose. This is one of a project in Singapore called Kranji Green Multi-Story Recycling Factory. And the architect there, he was using the VR headset to validate. And why are we doing this? Because most of the time, we have to submit a set of design drawings, 2D plans, i.e. via your emails or any links, right? Instead of doing that and waiting 21 days, up to 21 days or 14 days contractually to get the design to be approved, we engage him in a session and ask him to approve in that particular session itself. So it helps to reduce the time of approval. So with the use of VR, he's very confident that, look, whatever is the content of the building information model that we can use, which we will then use to construct and install on site, are then validated with the use of the VR headset instead of a typical conventional 2D drawing submission and validation, right? So again, it helps us a lot to reduce a lot of time and increase our productivity. We did a trial, again, with a startup called Deconstruct with the use of 5G network on automation. So the intent was to install a 3D scanner on these robotics, autonomous robots, and start moving around operation and construction site. So we are still in a trial stage. Hopefully it can be implemented in one of our upcoming projects. All right, with regards to sustainable, today most of our project, our current biggest ongoing project, we have replaced diesel-powered generator. Now we are using alternative energy. And beyond using this alternative battery-powered energy called entertainers by one of the vendor called AMPD, at our construction site, we are able to use data to analyze the power consumption and the use of power within the construction site itself. So again, it helps us to understand the kind of usage or power usage that we have on site and track, and we can be more predictive rather than reactive as using data. We also partner with Sunsip, one of the rooftop solar energy system in one of the buildings that we co-own, Razer HQ. I'm not sure if you guys heard of this brand called Razer. If any of you are gamers, for gamers by gamers. So this is quite a popular brand globally. So we co-own their Southeast Asia HQ, and we have implemented this solar energy on the roof for them. Just now I touched a bit on Queen Bee, but I think we were also recognized for our internationalization effort for one of the projects in Malaysia. Right in the middle of COVID, we were able to execute the project because of the use of technology, cloud platform, and online collaboration platform that we have, such as a common data environment, right? Even during COVID, so I like to say this, within the Singapore context and also my organization, we do not have a chief transformation officer, but COVID-19 is our de facto chief transformation officer because it totally changed the way how we work with the use of technology. In this case, if you can see, again, if we talk about just safety alone, and in Singapore context, safety is very important. And I did share a bit on how when we open up the economy and when construction work starts to be, I would say, faster and a lot of work is being done on site, we see an increase in the number of accidents and events happening on site. So prior to that, again, we developed a safe site, the use of IoT and sensors, which is attached to a hard helmet for us to trace any of the danger on site and activity. So again, we want to be predictive rather than reactive. So this was done everything during COVID itself. So because that we can start work on site safely under the Open Innovation Program by IMDA. Another government agency in Singapore. We were announced by, at that time, our Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Heng Swee Keat, that we have developed a real-time system that help construction workers to conduct safe tracing and health monitoring of the workers. So with the use of IoT and sensors, we were able to make sure there's a safety net that is happening on site for us to do work safely. Again, I mentioned a bit about this just now, the use of AI and 360 photo and building information model. This is part of the innovating process where we remotely use 360 photo to collaborate, share, and coordinate. And then the use of point cloud files. And the use of point cloud files in comparison or comparing with a BIM model is still labor intensive. So we are working with a partner today called Esquire and some of other vendors to see how we can use AI to automate that process instead of manually looking for some of this division and discrepancy. So it's a work in progress, but I believe it will continue because for AI to work effectively, we need to start collecting more data, and that's what we are doing with machine learning to help with the algorithm. Project Takida, one of the, I would say, the shining light of a project. It's a very small project, but again, the technologies that was adopted and implemented here is very, I would say, advanced or progressive in a mindset way. So the project managers here, they do not use manual reporting forms, i.e. via the use of PowerPoints. Instead, they use a connected data environment. So whenever they log in into any meetings, they just start to log in into their platform and shows where are we in terms of, are we delayed, are we ahead, or what are the things that is causing the delay. So there might be a bottleneck. Now, having a common data platform is a two-edged sword because a lot of people say it's too transparent, right? And people worry, they are afraid that some of these issues that crop up within the platform itself may be pointing back to them. But I think the concern is not valid because what we are trying to do here is to have a traceability and accountability, and being transparent is very good because it helps us to identify any bottleneck. And we are not there to blame, but rather to resolve and rectify where are the bottleneck within the whole project milestone or timeline, right? Crunchy Green, one of the project, again, I mentioned just now, we got a BEAM IDD award for this from BCA. So it's a 6-story, multi-story recycling factory, the use of common data environment, the project data are done on a mobile access. So we are very progressive in the implementation of digital management, digital construction, digital fabrication, and we use a tracking system to track the precast from design all the way to installation. So using QR code to track the status of each of these elements on site. And this is very important, especially as part of the supply chain management, right? You need to ensure that the delivery of these precast elements are on time, and what caused the delay, if there are any delay, especially for a country like Singapore, because we rely a lot on overseas suppliers, and any of these supply chain disruption will cause a lot of delay to some, or in fact most of the project if that happens. And if I were to just summarize a bit of what I've just shared with you guys, construction real estate company can leverage technology in several ways to improve operational efficiency and productivity via building information model. Now, building information model is nothing new. I think in Singapore, we started our journey way back in 2010. We have right now undergone a whole enhancement. Today, BCA mentioned about integrated project delivery. Prior to that was integrated digital delivery. And before that, 2017, we were talking about virtual design and construction. But BEAM is still the base of all this process and implementation. Without a good BEAM model, without a good BEAM coordination process, you are unable to undertake most of those processes that I mentioned earlier. So BEAM-based project will continuously be promoted and used as part of that whole process. IoT, I mentioned just now that as part of our smart building initiative, we have embarked on using smart app, but we are pushing this, pushing the boundaries of the implementation of IoT for building performance, right? Understanding what kind of power and energy consumption are being used in some of the buildings that we own, allow us real-time monitoring and analyze the data, address some of the maintenance issue predictively and proactively. Cloud-based platform. Again, I like to share a little bit of story about this. My Chief Transformation Officer, COVID-19, right? You know, what's interesting is when we were forced to lock down, a lot of the bosses of other organizations actually reach out to me and say, Kahil, do you guys have challenge in trying to get your guys to work from home? I say, well, there's some challenge, but not enormous enough or huge that caused me to be, you know, in a situation where I can't. So they say that, look, they are having big issues, and I say, what kind of issues? Logistically, they need to bring back most of the computer and machines to each of their staff back at home. And this is where a lot of, that's number one. Second, data was not on cloud, right? They were on premise server, and they need a lot of security, and the IT guys were going crazy. You know, one of these two IT guys trying to get everything on cloud and making sure security is there, etc. So for us, it was quite seamless because most of our data at that time, I would say 90%, on cloud. We are using a cloud-based platform to extract, to share, and collaborate. So it was quite a seamless experience for us, but unfortunately, there are companies that face that issue. First, the use or access of data and a big machine. So it was a logistical nightmare for them. And fortunately for us, most of our guys are being issued iPads, tablets, and laptops. So it was easy. It was a seamless transition for us to work. And thanks to Mr. COVID-19, in fact, what's interesting is during that whole COVID period, the sales of laptops went so high that if you go to any of those electrical department store, you can't find any stocks anymore. So it was due to this whole shift of working from home, or earlier we talked about working anywhere, right? Digital nomad. Augmented reality, VR, I mentioned just now about how we cut down from 14 days to a single session where we can validate design approval. Getting all this approval is very key and critical and part of the construction process from the consultant. So we use these for more immersive experience, a one-to-one scale, where they can understand, they can validate, and then they can approve. So as part of our construction process, we will continue to do this as part of our implementation in any of the projects that we embark on. Artificial AI or machine learning, very important. I think I'm sure most of you guys here today might have used or have heard of ChatGPT. You know, I myself use a lot. What's interesting is a week ago, my managing director called me in his office, say, Kahil, say, yes, what's this ChatGPT about? So I laugh. I said, look, I mean, it's an open AI, generative AI, right? So what's important is how it can help you in your day-to-day operation or day-to-day work. So I just telling him, don't worry, it's not here to replace you, right? It's going to help you in day-to-day work. So what we have done in my group technology office, some of the folks here that they are doing, they use prompt to do dynamo coding. And from the dynamo coding, they use it back to Revit. And it helps to enhance that whole process and streamline and reduce as compared to a traditional without generative AI. So rather than ring-fencing the use of ChatGPT in our office, we encourage people to use ChatGPT or any of the generative AI to help in their day-to-day operation or day-to-day work. Right? So obviously, AI, machine learning is going to play a big part in our future of work. I call it future of work. Right? Overall, obviously, we can know that digital technologies can help construction companies like ourselves, real estate, to be more efficient in terms of operational, reduce costs, improve safety, better quality and service to customer. Again, I like to encourage everyone to embrace the future of work, to create a better, efficient, sustainable future within the built environment and globally. So this is one of our group technology office. We have a Yammer page internally. I like to always have this question to the audience before I end my presentation. Even whether in Singapore or globally here in Australia, Melbourne, will we be digital by default before we go to sleep, whether in the construction industry itself? Now, if you wish to connect with me, this is my contact number, right? My contact email address, and there's a QR code for you. You can scan, you can link with me or connect with me on LinkedIn, and I always want to share with you guys what's next. So again, I touch a bit of some of these points. So AI is going to bring a lot of value to our built environment and real estate, the use of IoT, blockchain. Today, we are working with a partner to see how we can use blockchain for financial transaction and make it more secure, and the use of VR in our process. And with that, I say thank you so much.